Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the ways that the 1970s live on in your headphones today. Punk rock attitude. This hard-charging, countercultural, often controversial subgenre is nothing if not a direct product of the 1970s. Popularized by such revolutionaries as the Ramones, New York Dolls, and most crucially the Sex Pistols, punk rock was a defiant middle finger to the establishment, encouraging young people to fight the power and think for themselves. Although the raw DIY ethos of 70s punk gradually gave way to polished 80s new wave, the genre never truly died. Instead, it shifted and evolved, and eventually gave rise to pop punk, which combined sugary sweet melodies and more personal songwriting with punk's classic sound. The enormously popular new genre then ushered in bands we know and love today like Blink-182, Green Day, and Paramore. Glam theatricality.
Ziggy played guitar, jamming good with Weird and Gilly and the Spiders from Mars.
It should go without saying that the LGBTQIA+ community has always played a role in the music industry. However, that role became significantly more prominent with the advent of quote-unquote glam rock.
We are the champions.
Artists like David Bowie and T-Rex's Mark Bolan flaunted their androgynous aesthetic, playing on audience expectations and confirming that rock music could truly be for everyone. The scene even produced Joe Bryant, the first openly gay rock musician to be signed to a major label. While glam rock took a significant hit from Mark Bolan's 1977 death, artists like Queen and Elton John would confidently pick up his baton. Glam rock's flouting of gender conventions would go on to inspire such modern-day pop acts as Harry Styles, Benson Boone, and Måneskin.
As it was, we know it's not the same.
Hip-hop origins.
I said a hip-hop, the hip to the hip-hop, you don't stop the rocker to the bang bang boogie, say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat.
Hip-hop music is unique, a truly American invention in the vein of jazz and blues. The genre started in earnest during the 70s, the product of Bronx block parties that opened their doors to people of all races and creeds. Neighborhood MCs would rap spoken word poetry over the percussive breaks in disco, funk, and soul records.
I said a hip hop.
Yes. The hip hop.
Why did that occur to you? Why did you use those words?
Because it was new. Just like people in rock say, let's rock and roll. That's what hip hop was.
You said hip hop.
Yeah.
Fast forward to 1979, and hip-hop was a genuine mainstream sensation. Artists like the Sugar Hill Gang and DJ Kool Herc took the art form from the streets of New York to everywhere else. We probably don't need to tell you that hip-hop has since become a bona fide global phenomenon, with seemingly every culture around the world having their own take on it.
Simmer, who got the keys to my blood clot bimmer? Big time driller, monkey to gorilla.
Recording studio innovations.
Let me try and show you how we get some of these sounds. First of all, none of them exist as a particular sound, as they would on an electronic organ. There's no magic button marked trumpet or violin or drums. You have to build every sound. And to start to build these sounds, you have to start with something pretty simple.
It probably goes without saying that the technology that musicians use to record their tunes has become just a tad more sophisticated in the past half-century. With that having been said, Pitchfork's Mark Hogan once wrote that, quote, "The 1970s marked the dawn of the modern era in music technology, applying and refining the developments of earlier decades while also laying the foundations of the techniques and styles that would follow."
For the movie he was scoring, Emerson also duplicated some very exotic sounds with the Fairlight.
We basically got hold of a saxophone sound and toyed with that, so we could sort of recreate sort of a Moroccan street scene.
The 70s saw the invention of such groundbreaking bits of tech like the Fairlight CMI, an early sampling machine, along with portable synthesizers, commercial digital recording, and crucially, the Sony Walkman.
Take a cassette out of its case, and most people just see an empty box. But Sony saw something quite different. Sony introduces the only cassette player as small as a cassette case. The incredible sounding Super Walkman.
People really wanted their music to go. Enduring disco grooves. Nowadays, the sound of disco is so ubiquitous in pop music that you would think it had been beloved and widely accepted since its inception. In reality, nothing could be further from the truth. Despite the genre's inclusive culture, it was blasted by fans of rock music for its perceived blandness and consumerist leanings. This culminated in Disco Demolition Night in 1979, an event held at Chicago's Comiskey Park that would blow up a crate of disco records. Largely attributed to homophobia and racism, disco eventually began to experience a slow revival starting in the 1990s. In the 2020s, the disco revival is inescapable, not that we'd want to, with artists like Dua Lipa and Jessie Ware putting their own knowing, self-aware take on the genre. The concept album. We wouldn't say it'd be accurate to say that the notion of the concept album was invented during the 70s. The idea of an album that told a complete story through its songs, though, was largely popularized during the decade, with records like Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall setting the standard for generations to come. The concept album defied genre lines too, with Marvin Gaye's 1971 classic What's Going On serving as a non-rock example. While the concept album threatened to disappear over time, the rise of digital streaming has encouraged contemporary indie artists like Ethel Cain and Frank Ocean to let their albums be just that, albums, rather than a collection of individual songs. Check out Preacher's Daughter and Blonde for proof. Yacht rock vibes. You might already be able to tell from the name that yacht rock was never exactly considered the coolest genre, emerging as an antidote to abrasive hard rock. Soft rock artists like Fleetwood Mac, The Eagles, Carole King, Steely Dan, and more pulled from jazz, R&B, and soul to formulate an instantly recognizable smooth sound. While the genre was tragically derided by rock purists at the time, so-called yacht rock has since experienced a cult revival from people who appreciate its irresistible grooves and tight musicianship. Modern-day acts like Mac DeMarco, Thundercat, and Clairo have mined that classic yacht rock sound to great effect, finally giving an underappreciated age of music its due. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Funk and soul forever.
Very superstitious. Writings on the wall.
Of course, we couldn't close out our video without mentioning the two genres arguably most crucial to the development of what would eventually become pop, hip-hop, and R&B. Although the two genres' histories are so intertwined and deep-rooted that we couldn't break them all down here, just know that the 70s were funk's heyday and soul's renaissance period, respectively. Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Chaka Khan, Parliament-Funkadelic, the list goes on and on and on. Countless modern-day artists have cited 70s funk and soul as being formative to their sound, whether directly or indirectly, including such heavy hitters as Adele, Steve Lacy, and maybe you've heard of her, Beyoncé.
You're the one I can always call when I need to make everything stop. Finally, you put my love on top.
What's your favorite musical act from the 70s? Be sure to let us know in the comments below.